Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane just dropped one of the boldest statements we've heard from any NFL executive this year, and it's shaking up how fans view front offices across the league. Normally, Beane isn't the kind of guy to stir controversy. He's calm, measured, and always keeps the team's business behind closed doors. But this time, he stepped to the podium after the trade deadline and went straight at the NFL's new generation of general managers, and he didn't hold back. This wasn't your typical Bills press conference. Beane fired off a message that made headlines instantly, a message that spoke volumes about how the Bills plan to operate moving forward under his leadership. And for Buffalo fans already growing restless about missed Super Bowl chances, his words only fueled the fire. Before we dive deeper into what Beane said, and why it matters for the Bills' future, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of the latest Buffalo Bills updates and news. Now, let's get into it. Brandon Beane's comments came right after the trade deadline. And while many expected the typical, "we like our roster," kind of message, Beane did the opposite. He openly challenged how other GMs across the NFL are building their teams, calling out the aggressive, short-term approach that's been spreading through the league. Since joining the Bills in 2018, the same year he drafted Josh Allen, Beane has been viewed as one of the league's sharpest minds. But now, fans are beginning to question if his conservative philosophy is holding Buffalo back from finally breaking through to a Super Bowl. His post-deadline remarks didn't quiet those doubts, they amplified them. Brandon Beane didn't hold back. When reporters asked why the Bills stayed quiet at the trade deadline, the general manager didn't dance around the question, he went straight for the throat. Beane blamed the surge of deadline chaos on the league's new generation of general managers, saying too many of them treat the NFL like a video game. "Everyone's available for a price," he said, "but this isn't fantasy football." That one line hit like a thunderclap. Beane wasn't just defending his decisions, he was drawing a line in the sand. For him, team building isn't about flashy trades or short-term hype. It's about stability, chemistry, and playing the long game. Still, that explanation didn't exactly ease the frustration of a fan base desperate for a Lombardi trophy. To the average Bills fan, hearing your general manager describe the trade deadline as a waste of time is tough to swallow. Buffalo has been so close for so long, and every missed opportunity feels heavier than the last. But in Beane's mind, discipline wins championships, not panic moves. He's made it clear before that he doesn't want the Bills to end up like the Rams after their all-in Super Bowl run, where future draft picks were sacrificed for immediate success. Yet, irony seems to be catching up with him. The Rams, once labeled as reckless, have rebuilt themselves faster than anyone expected, and meanwhile, Buffalo is still searching for that one breakthrough moment. Beane's philosophy has always been about balance, build through the draft, maintain cap flexibility, and avoid gutting the future. But the NFL is changing fast. The league is younger, bolder, and less patient. And as Beane doubles down on his long-term vision, the pressure in Buffalo only grows heavier. This is more than a disagreement over trades, it's a clash of philosophies. One side chases the big splash, the other trusts the slow burn. And right now, Brandon Beane's restraint has the entire Bills community wondering, is patience still a virtue, or is it costing them their shot at greatness? This is exactly what Buffalo fans have been waiting for, a front office that matches their hunger. Bills Mafia doesn't just want playoff runs. They want parades down Delaware Avenue. They want the moment every heartbreak turns into a roar of triumph. But to get there, it takes more than patience. It takes risk, aggression, and the courage to bet everything on one shot at glory. Sure, building a champion isn't easy. Luck plays a part, timing plays a part, but the greatest teams make their own luck. And that's where the frustration around Brandon Beane begins to grow. The fans see teams like Los Angeles and Philadelphia cashing in, and they wonder why Buffalo keeps waiting for the perfect moment that never seems to come. In Los Angeles, Rams GM Les Snead turned the NFL upside down with his bold "F them picks" mentality. He threw away draft capital, stacked his roster with stars, and it paid off with a Lombardi trophy. The message was clear: rings matter more than first-round picks. Bills fans would trade every future selection in a heartbeat if it meant finally watching Josh Allen hoist that Super Bowl trophy. Then there's Philadelphia. Howie Roseman built the Eagles into a powerhouse by refusing to play it safe. He pushed boundaries, made aggressive moves, and lived by one belief: you can't climb to the top without taking real risks. It's a mentality that's reshaped the modern NFL. That's the tension surrounding Brandon Beane right now. He's watched these aggressive front offices win it all, yet he still believes in discipline and long-term vision. His words about younger GMs who grew up playing fantasy football reflect a deeper frustration, a belief that today's NFL is becoming reckless with trades and short-term gambles. But here's the truth: the league is changing whether he likes it or not. The Bills' window is open right now, and every other contender knows it. Fans aren't asking Beane to abandon his principles, they're asking him to adapt. Because the difference between a contender and a champion isn't talent, it's timing. Buffalo has the quarterback. They have the culture. What they need now is the boldness to go all in, before the window closes, and, almost, becomes the story of a generation. Brandon Beane's comments didn't just spark debate, they ignited a storm. When he suggested that the increase in NFL trades comes from younger general managers who grew up playing fantasy football, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. To many, it sounded dismissive, even defensive, the kind of statement made when pressure is starting to show. Beane was clearly trying to justify why he chose not to make a move, but for Bills fans, that explanation didn't land well. Social media lit up with frustration. One common theme echoed through every corner of Bills Mafia: how long can you wait when your franchise quarterback is in his prime? Josh Allen is entering the heart of his career, that rare window where talent, experience, and hunger collide. And yet, as other contenders stack their rosters, Buffalo stands still. Fans pointed out that since Allen's rise, the Bills haven't made a single major trade involving a first- or second-round pick to push them over the top. Every year, the same story: potential without the payoff. Injuries have only made it harder to accept. With key players like Micah Hyde and Ed Oliver battling through setbacks, and the receiving core thinner than expected, fans expected urgency, a signal that the front office would fight for this season. Instead, silence. Still, not everyone is ready to turn on Beane. Some fans argue that he's been one of the more strategic and aggressive general managers in football since taking the job, that restraint isn't weakness, it's discipline. That he won't gamble the Bills' future for short-term satisfaction. But the divide is clear. One side sees a cautious architect trying to build a dynasty the right way. The other sees a window closing while opportunity slips through their fingers. And that's the heart of the debate in Buffalo right now: is Brandon Beane's patience preserving the team's future, or preventing them from claiming the moment they've been chasing for years? The answer may define not only the legacy of this front office, but whether the Josh Allen era will be remembered for greatness, or for what could have been.